Hey everybody, welcome back. Hey, before we get into anything today, I just want to do a quick shout out to some really awesome podcasters and YouTubers out there who have had me on their shows recently, and I would like for you to check them out. One of them is called Online for Authors. It's by Terry M. Brown. She's an awesome person. She's a novelist herself, but she also interviews a lot of authors. If you want to hear my interview with her, check the link in the description notes below. Also, I was recently a guest on Stamper Cinema. So if you want to hear me talk about one of my favorite movies of all time with them, please check them out also. Their links are in the description. And last of all, the DMF with Justin Yuntz. So Justin is an amazing guy. I'm going to have him on my show here shortly, but very fun interview. If you want to give his podcast a try, check him out. His is also in the links below. And folks, remember, if you want to support this channel, the way you do that is by buying one of my books and leaving a review. It helps out so much. All right, let's get into today's thing. In a world where hunger gnaws at every dream, one boy must walk into the shadows.
My country is sick. I must be a little off myself. I heard the stories, rumors, myths. Is he real? Will he catch me?
He is small, he is mocked, but tonight he must prove that even the weakest can rise.
If I could stay, I would. But what I need lies on the other side of these woods.
I'm Brent Lindstrom. Welcome back to Like-Minded Arts, where I've been on a journey going from Hammer to Hollywood, and along the way I want to help you not just become a struggling artist, but to become a working creative. Now, folks, I am really excited because I just did something sneaky. I re-released a book that I wasn't actually planning on releasing, okay? So I wrote a book about, it was several years ago, okay? It was back when I was writing under the name of BC Crow. Okay, now, when I was writing under that name, my craft wasn't quite up to par. All right, I had a lot of ideas, a lot of books I wanted to write, but I also had to get some hours and I had to practice my craft, all right? And the quality wasn't always there. This was one such book. I had written this, I published it under that name, and then I basically forgot about it. Because you know what happened? Everybody who read it said, "We really love that book. I got so into the character and everything." And then the ending happened. And they hated the ending. Everyone I talked to loved the book. They hated the ending. And I thought, great. What am I going to do about this? Because I didn't feel like promoting it. I didn't feel like rewriting it. I didn't know what the ending should be because I thought I'd foreshadowed the ending pretty good. But they didn't think so. So I basically shelved the book for a while. I mean, it was still available in different places. Plus, it had a really ugly cover. I hand drew the cover myself, and I'm not that kind of an artist, all right? So I didn't really care about it. Figured everyone's going to judge it by its cover, and that was probably good because nobody would actually go out and buy the thing. But eventually, I got going along, and the more I learned about writing, the more I learned my craft, the more I thought back to that book, and one day, the ending snapped into focus. I was like, I know how this book should have ended. Now, let's be honest. When I was first doing this book, I was trying to be a pantser. And I am not a pantser. I am an outliner. So that was one of the reasons that the ending struggled. It's because when I started the book, I didn't know how I was going to end it. I had to really try hard. It was such a struggle to get through that book because I got lost in the book. But eventually I came up with the ending I had, and it was good in my mind. It was foreshadowed correctly, but it didn't work. And I finally realized the reason. I was putting an ending in that did not fit the genre of the book. And when I realized that this book was a coming of age style novel and the implications for that, I knew what beats I was missing. I knew how the story should end. And I was like, oh, why didn't I think of this before? And I know I didn't think of it before. It's because I didn't know before. And once I knew that, I just had to rewrite it, okay? And so I took it. I mean, I didn't rewrite the whole book, but I rewrote a lot of the filler material in it. Not filler. That's a stupid word for it. I rewrote a lot of the foreshadowing elements within it so that it didn't foreshadow to the wrong ending. It foreshadowed to the right ending, and then when the ending actually happened, it felt natural, it felt clean, it felt like exactly the way that book should have been wrapped up. So I decided, with as much good feedback as I'd had on the rest of the book, I was actually going to publish this one under my own name instead of the BC Crow name. So I happily present to you Swing Low, The Hangman of the Woods, 2nd edition. But by Brent Lindstrom. And this one is going to land a lot better than the 1st edition did. In fact, I'm going to take the 1st edition. By now, it's probably already off. You probably won't be able to find it anywhere unless somebody printed it off. And yeah, let's face it, it wasn't worth reading because the end was such a letdown, such a disappointment, okay? But I kind of did this sneakily, so I didn't really feel like doing a big run-up to it because I'd already kind of released it several years ago, and, you know, I just decided to publish this one without any fanfare or marketing. Maybe that wasn't the right idea, but that's what I did, so that's what you get. I mean, by the time you're seeing this, it has already been published. It was re-released on January 1st of 2026. Now let's talk a little bit about the book, see if it's a book you want to read, okay? So on the cover you can clearly see that there's this big guy and he's got a big rope, all right? That is the hangman, all right? He lives in the woods. I made this up in a made-up country by Asia. I made up a fake Asian myth called the Hangman of the Woods. And in this supposed land, there is a whole lot of people who are terrified to go into this wooded area, this forest, see? And in this forest, there lives a hangman. And if you venture in, chances are you're not going to find your way back out because he's going to get you. All right. There's other things that live in the woods too. There's witches. There's there's a few other things, and this isn't really a witch sword and sorcery type novel. No, this is a novel not even about the hangman. It's a novel about a boy named Ito. He's going to school for journalism, and because at the time, in that area, there's a bit of corruption, not making an actual political statement about any place over there, but in his town there's a lot of corruption, and a journalist could make a lot of money selling lies. And so that's where he's at. He's really smart. He's got a really good command of the English language, which shows through in his perspective. But it's not what he really wants to be. He wants to go into the medical field. He wants to help people. He's got a soft heart, all right? And at some point, he's going to be able to make that journey and go to the medical school. But the medical school lies on the other side of the woods, which he is going to have to walk through, all right? Along the way, what do you think he's going to end up finding? I think he's going to find the hangman of the woods. He's also going to find a few other things. He's going to find out a little bit about himself. about what he really believes in. And it's going to be a fun, exciting, scary story for him, but hopefully an entertaining story for you. And I think you're going to love this, okay? So if you would like to see what his adventure is going to be, you should check out Swing Low, The Hangman of the Woods. It's going to be available in print and ebook, and maybe one of these days I'll be able to get it in audiobook also. I haven't started that yet, at least at the time of this publishing. I just spit on my lip. Ugh. All right, so yeah, no audiobook yet, maybe forthcoming. Oh, and a couple other things, folks. If you do end up getting this book, which I really recommend you do, I would suggest that go to Amazon or go to Barnes & Noble, go wherever it is you bought your book and leave a review, okay? It helps me out incredibly. I'm not doing a ton of marketing on this book, all right? So anything that you can do to leave a review would help me out tremendously. It'll help get the book noticed. Books without reviews don't ever get bought. So that's, if you like any of the content I put out there, support me by leaving reviews on any of the books that you get for me. And that's all I really ever ask of you. And by the way, coming up in just a couple of months, at the beginning of March, I am releasing my first novel in the Gearlock series. It's called Hard Boiled Cabbage. And if you want a gritty fantasy novel with a hard-boiled detective, that is going to be the novel for you, all right? So don't go anywhere. Check that out. Pre-order it. And remember to like and subscribe. Next time, we'll be getting back to some of our normal programming, but I just really wanted to let you know about this book that I was releasing, or that I just barely released, because, hey, if I didn't let you know, how would you know? All right? But it's out. I hope you enjoy. Until next time.